experience the brilliance once more. Hello everyone, my name is Min and I am your dead DM, and if you are watching the video playing instead of just listening to it, you will see that I am talking about Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl today. And before I explain anything, I'm just gonna drop my hot take right here at the beginning. Here's my opinion, real quick. Here's my opinion about Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. What's wrong with them being exactly the same game as the original Pokemon Diamond and Pearl? I don't think there's anything wrong if they make a one-to-one remake. Keep in mind, I don't think they're gonna do that. I don't think that they're gonna make a one-to-one remake. They haven't made a one-to-one remake for any of the previous remakes, so I can't see a reason for them to do that now. But for argument's sake, what if that's what they're doing? What if they're just essentially re-releasing Pokemon Diamond and Pearl back to us, faithfully remade? For context, since my mom watches these videos, I'll break down kind of the quote-unquote controversy and what's happening. Pokemon has announced their games Diamond and Pearl getting remakes, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, as well as a game called Pokemon Legends of Arceus. And ever since the trailers have come out for both, Pokemon fans have been really upset with how the remake looks, Diamond and Pearl, because they are too much like the original instead of it looking like the new generation Sword and Shield. Which, I mean, in all fairness, I get it. I love the Sinnoh region, and it would have been super cool to see it in 3D like Sword and Shield. However, we are getting Legends of Arceus, which a lot of people were a little upset about because they saw the expansive meadows that you're going to explore. And a few people were like, hey, that looks like Breath of the Wild. Pokemon's copying Breath of the Wild, as if Breath of the Wild invented grassy meadows. Now, a little bit of quick history, because I think this is important. Pokemon is about 8 generations in. What that means is there have been 8 main series games that create a new region, new starters, and a new Pokedex. These generations tend to include a deluxe edition, remakes, or both. In some cases, we got sequels. In some cases, we got alternate timelines of the original, specifically talking about Pokemon Black and White 2, and then Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, which were an alternate timeline to the first game. So there's not a set formula, but we tend to get a deluxe edition, or remakes, or sequels, or whatever. We get several games in a generation. The first games of Pokemon were created for Game Boy systems, which there were a couple of Game Boy systems, but for the sake of this, I will be referring to Game Boys all together. Same concept, similar cartridges. I'm going to be talking about the Game Boys all together. Generation 3 was on the Game Boy Advanced and had Ruby, Sapphire, their deluxe edition Emerald, and it was the first generation to do a remake where we got Leaf Green and Fire Red, which remade the original game. Gen 4 moved up to the Nintendo DS system, which featured 2 screens. We got Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, their deluxe edition Platinum. Heart Gold and Soul Silver were our remakes, and they were remaking the second generation of Pokemon. Gen 4, 5, 6, and 7 all made their home on the Nintendo DS systems. Now in Gen 8, we've moved up to the Nintendo Switch system, which is a single screen application that can be played handheld or on a television screen. It also pushed Pokemon games onto a system powerful enough for exploration, allowing Game Freak to create big, explorable 3D environments, as we see in Pokemon Sword and Shield, which is the first to make a wild area. So at the time of recording this, across 25 years, we have 8 generations, and across 3 systems, roughly, we've just moved up to the Switch. So let's go back to my initial question. At the start of this video, I said, What's wrong with it being exactly the same game? Near the end of the DS system's releases, Pokemon re-released the ROMs for Pokemon Yellow and Crystal and all of those really old Game Boy properties. Digitally, of course, they released the ROMs digitally onto the DS system. Why did they do that? They only sold those really old games for like $3, if I remember. But so why would they do that? Why would they re-release those old games? They did it to improve accessibility. The 3DS at that point, well, not at that point, the 3DS didn't have the ability to play Game Boy games unless they were ROMs, because they lacked a port to put Game Boy cartridges in. Game Boys are no longer in production. Those games were no longer getting hard copies made. And a lot of old Game Boy games, I mean, this may just be me, but a lot of them are falling apart. I've tried to plug in Emerald recently, and man, is that a pain to get to play. So it's really hard to get a legitimate copy of those old games, so they just re-released them back onto the DS system. Now, why do I bring this up? Well, I don't believe these remakes are going to be rebuilds of the original. Again, that's not what I think is going to happen, but again, for argument's sake, if they're going to make a one-to-one remake, why not just re-release the ROMs of the original games onto the Switch system? The thing about Pokemon Generation 4, Diamond and Pearl, Generation 5, Generation 6, and Generation 7 is they were built for a DS system, which means they were built for a system with 2 screens. Now, some of those games incorporated their features of the second screen with various success, but regardless, that's how it was built. So it would be really clunky to try and port a 2-screen application. It would be hard to port a 2-screen game up onto a single-screen game. They would probably already have to go into the game code and rebuild it, or make an emulator for the Switch that could be even clunkier. So why not, at this point, why not just remake the games for access? I mean, if you're already going to have to dig into game codes, try and figure out how to make a DS emulator on a Switch system that will be hard to look at because it's 2 screens on one handheld device. Why not just remake the games for accessibility? Now, a counter argument could be, why remake them when people could go back and play the old games? But what about new Pokemon fans? You know? Like, I have my copy of Pokemon Diamond and Platinum. That's awesome. I have that. I know a lot of other people have that. So if they're making a one-to-one remake, why would I get the same game just looking different when I can just sit here and play Platinum? I get that. I get that mentality. And again, I don't think they're making a one-to-one remake, but for the sake of arguing, I can play Platinum. So why rebuild the game if their audience has access to the old games? Well, the old games came out back before 2010. The DS systems are no longer being made. So if a child started with a Nintendo Switch, or even if an adult started with a Nintendo Switch, it would probably be pretty hard to find a DS since they don't make new ones. You'd have to get a used one. You might have to, like, eBay get one, which their prices would probably be up. And then buying Pokemon Diamond and Pearl and, like, Platinum's price. I saw a screenshot from eBay where Pokemon Platinum is now, like, worth $200. That's not accessible to general people. That's not accessible to people who casually would like to enjoy Pokemon. So, again, why not just remake the originals? If you're worried about it being a cash grab because it's going to be the exact same game, don't buy it. Just don't buy it. So that's kind of my opinion for the Gen 4 remakes. If they are one-to-one remakes, the best reason to do it is because it makes those old stories, that work they did, accessible again. Again, I don't believe that's what they're doing, but that's a good reason to, and that's kind of my hot take. So I didn't super script this amazingly. I guess my closing thoughts are, people have a lot of opinions about a very short amount of footage, and we have a release date and a cover now, so we really don't know what we're getting until we get more trailers or until the game comes out. So I would say, if you're worried about the remakes, just calm down and remember that you are not required to spend $60 on them. And you can go play your old game if that's what you would prefer. So yeah, I hope everyone has a wonderful day. If you enjoyed my not a hot take, in my opinion, is like, comment, and subscribe. I am not a Poketuber, but whatever. So, bye.